Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and today you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my kind of squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about starting over and starting fresh. You see, the other day, a buddy of mine reached out to me on Discord and asked the question of, hey, Uncle Frank, if you were forced to start again fresh, when it comes to selling online, what steps would you take? How would you approach it? How would you go about starting from square one? Of course, they asked this in the context of starting their own TCG player journey, but it was a surprisingly relevant question. You see, not that long ago, I actually had quite a scare where starting over fresh might have been a real possibility. Or at the very least, I thought it was a real possibility. You see, I had logged in to TCGPlayer one day about a week ago to find all of a sudden that I got a message saying that my account was, I think, hidden or deactivated. That was it. It was deactivated. There was a big old message on the screen saying the account was deactivated and I couldn't sell. And then I had to reach out to support to reactivate the account. And that freaked me out for a bit. But of course, I did reach out. Turns out it was just an error in the system. Everything was good. No problems there. I was able to get back to selling right away. But it did spook me. That's for sure. So what if that wasn't an error? What if I did have to start over from square one on TCGPlayer and on eBay with the knowledge I have now and how I've been doing things for quite a while now, what steps would I take to try and get myself back on my feet, get back to making money, and try to, build up what I've had going? So first off, there's some caveats here. Starting from square one is not the same as starting with nothing, whether you are someone who's literally never had any experience with buying and selling online, or if you've been doing it for a while and for one reason or another, you need to start over with a new account, there are always going to be some things that you're going to have dependent on your situation. If you're like me, then you already have things like all the packing materials, all the shipping supplies, stamps, tape, envelopes, all that jazz, as well as just thousands upon thousands of bulk cards ready to go, ready to add to any new potential inventory you might want to be stocking up on. And even if you are a fresh person, you're going to have at least the bare basics. If you're interested in opening a TCG business, you're going to have some inventory on hand, whether it's from a personal collection or just stuff, bulk that's been building up over time from card games you've been buying. With that out of the way, let's get started with how I would start over from square one with my knowledge and the contents of this garage. The first thing I would do is that instead of trying to focus really hard on just TCGPlayer like I did in the beginning, I would make fresh accounts for TCGPlayer and eBay and work on both at effectively the same time. When I started selling online back in 2018, 2019, when I started getting back into it, I had been almost exclusively on TCGPlayer. In fact, I had only gotten on eBay relatively recently, and I realized almost immediately that waiting so long to get onto eBay was a bit of a mistake on my part, because there are opportunities there that I don't have on TCGPlayer, such as being able to sell more things than just cards, for instance. After all, I do buy and sell video games. eBay as a platform turns out to be a good outlet for that. So I would be doing both TCGPlayer and eBay concurrently to try and have a wider net, so to speak, in the online marketplace. As a general rule, I would sell generally cheaper, more bulk cards, less desirable cards on TCGPlayer because of how easy it is to add volumes upon volumes of cards onto TCGPlayer. It's just an easier platform for me to work with. Whereas more expensive cards or cards from games that aren't on TCGPlayer, those would obviously go onto eBay. But that's just a general rule. I don't have a specific price point at which a card goes to eBay rather than TCGPlayer, for instance. I just know that for some card games, I have a preference of just sending them over to eBay. Uh, it is what it is. It would kind of be a case by case basis, you know? Secondly, um, the big goal with TCGPlayer, at least, would be to get that wonderful seller level 4 up and running. That is the coveted unlimited inventory slots, access to some of the pro features options that we really want to get if we're on TCGPlayer. So I would, of course, focus on getting as many sales on TCGPlayer as possible to achieve that. And to do that, I would focus on what I know are good staples from various TCGs. You know, Sol Ring is a dime a dozen. There's a bazillion prints of the card, but everyone also wants it. That's why it's had so many reprints. Sol Ring, Command Tower, several of the shock or fetch lands, if I have those on hand at the time, depending on, you know, when the reset happens. For Yu-Gi-Oh, things like MST, Solemn Judgment, cards that are desirable across multiple formats, especially for some of the retro formats. Yes, I know I don't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's not hard to look at a Yu-Gi-Oh set and try to figure out what's the fastest selling card. It takes literally minutes, I think, to go to any given Yu-Gi-Oh set and see what is the hottest selling common card from that set. Grab 20 of those, put them in an inventory slot, and call it a day. It's even easier with newer sets. If you have a bunch of new stuff on hand and you know it's a hot ticket item, good on you. Getting to level 4 is actually not hard. It's 51 orders on TCGPlayer. I think it's only 2 orders that you need to make in order to get seller level 2. But it's like 51 orders total that you need to make in order to get to seller level 4 with a 90% or above feedback rating, which is hard if you're being skeezy, I think. If you're being a jerk and sending damaged cards that you marked as near mint, obviously you're not going to get a good rating. But if you're doing everything correctly, you're sending the cards packaged right, you're doing it on time, and you're making sure to top things off, you're going to do just fine getting to level 4. For a TCGPlayer, especially at the start, it's very easy to just put a whole stack of cards on once and forget about it, especially if you put over, 50 copies of Sol Ring will probably get you the sales you need, if I'm being completely honest. So it's easy to just slap a pile of cards onto there all at once and then just kind of let it go until you get the sales you need. But for eBay, I have found in my experience and in the experience of other people I've talked to, eBay really, you really do better on eBay in my experience if you're frequently adding new items to the platform, if you're frequently updating your inventory and giving people more and more reason to visit your page. So for eBay, instead of just uploading one giant bulk pile of stuff at once, I would set aside a big pile of stuff, whether it's card games, video games, whatever, and upload a few of those every day for the next 2 or 3 weeks, so I can start getting momentum, start getting people paying attention to the store, and start getting people in the door, so to speak. Even if I'm selling some of these items at a loss, really the goal there is to raise your eBay feedback, raise the amount of eyes who are coming into your store and checking out your business. At least that is my take on it. With eBay, there's no end goal as a seller. It's just get as many people paying attention to your store as possible. Try to get as large a variety of items on your store as possible, whether it be card games, video games, whatever have you, whatever you're trying to sell, right? Sorry, I got a scratchy throat. But for TCGPlayer, there is a goal, in my opinion. And that, of course, is pro seller status, because with pro seller status comes what is, in my opinion, the best tool for TCGPlayer sellers, the mass price updating tool, which lets you set rules that will automatically update prices for cards in a certain category on your store automatically daily based on various parameters that you can set. It is a wonderful tool. I've talked about it on the channel before. I know other YouTubers have talked about it before. It is, in my opinion, the best thing TCGPlayer has put out there for sellers. It's just such a useful, very versatile tool that can make your life infinitely easier. I can't believe that there was a time of my life where I would actually manually go through various card games and update the prices automatically based on the market price or based on lowest listing either. Rather than having access to mass price and setting a bunch of parameters that let me set, among other things, a base floor price for my items. Now, nothing on my TCGPlayer store is under 15 or 16 cents, thanks in part due to mass price, which is just such a useful thing. So eBay, no end goal, just add more stuff to eBay, get more sales, move up in the world. TCGPlayer, very much get to level 4 as fast as possible. Apply for level pro status. Apply for pro status. Get the mass price tool, because it's just so good. And of course, if I am starting from like 0, let's assume that I have no money in the bank. All I'm working with is the material I have on hand, some cards, some shipping supplies, etc. Something's went catastrophically wrong. I've been locked out of my TCGPlayer account. I've been locked out of my bank account, whatever. There is a game plan moving forward, starting with 0 cash or whatever. And that is to roll all cash right back into the business. It's very easy, I think, and I'm guilty of this myself. It's very easy to take your earnings off of TCGPlayer or eBay and buy things you want either for your collection or spend it on bills or groceries or whatever have you. Justify little purchases with it, I know how it is, But it would be in your best interest and my best interest, assuming I'm starting from 0 again, to take all of your, all of the income from the fresh account and use it to fund more of the account. Fund more of your inventory for the account. Buying things like shipping supplies, more collections, video games for eBay. More boxes. You're always going to need more boxes. Some of those are going to get damaged over time. You're going to have to replace them every so often. I mean, you can't really see it on camera, but that one's kind of sagging. I'm going to have to get rid of it soon. I've had some of those for a while. So like you need to replace your, you need more shipping supplies always. You always need more items for the inventory, more boxes, fresher boxes, and shelving units and stuff like that. There's all kinds of expenses that pile up, and I'm not even talking about things like the electricity bill or anything. There's all kinds of things to pay for. So it would be in your best interest to not pay yourself, so to speak, out of your TCGPlayer or eBay earnings until you're at a point where you're very comfortable with your income from those sites. So overall, that's how I would approach it from square one, and how I would try to start fresh. But maybe you guys have tips for starting over fresh that I hadn't considered. I am, after all, not the smartest person on the planet. Hell, I don't even think I'm the smartest person in this garage. There's like, there's at least one ghost over there. It's a fun story I should tell another time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out the Discord, the Patreon, the TCGPlayer link. I need you guys' help there since I'm starting over fresh. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.